Hello my friends and welcome to another Cities Skylines video. Today we're having a sneak peek at my latest project, which contains a giant transportation hub and a giant industry transportation hub, which is basically the same thing, but one is for industry stuff and one is for people. And basically the industry hub is like one big trading district. So now you might be wondering, what exactly is one of these transportation hubs? If you want to know that, just sit back and relax and I'm going to explain everything for you. And while I'm doing that, there's going to be a nice time lapse of one of my projects, which were supposed to showcase this industry hub. But it turned out to be really hard to make it work on a big scale. So I'm actually redoing the entire project just for you guys, cause you really seem to like the old Train City videos. But that's for another video. Today we're going to cover the transportation hub and the industry transportation hub, as I said in the beginning. So let's get straight to it. So basically what a transportation hub is a small or big area that connects to every other place on the entire map, either through trains, metros, or really any other transportation method that you can think of. So the industry hub is basically the same thing, but it also kinda acts like a big trading district where everyone can trade goods. So right about now in the video you can probably see some really bad examples for where I'm trying to build this industry transportation hub. This is some of my first attempts and it went really bad. But after some testing I came up with a pretty good design. A layout that works pretty well. It's not perfect, but it is working for now. So now we're going to cover some of the positive things about having one of these transportation hubs. And the first thing I came to think of is controlling the traffic. What I mean with this is that you will have full control over your traffic, you will see where everything is going, and you will also be able to see where most of your people are traveling in your town. And you will also be able to control the flow of how many people are actually traveling to different places. And this is really useful for when you're having a lot of traffic issues, because now you can reroute where everyone is going and pretty much remove most of your traffic problems. I'm not saying that this is perfect, but you will have a very good visual understanding of how your city works and where people are actually going. So one of the first things that I noticed when building this is it's very easy to find the bottlenecks in your city. So for example, if you're using a lot of train stations or metros, then for example you can just see how many people are waiting in line for your trains at your train station, and that will basically give you a rough understanding of where most of your citizens are traveling. And basically this is going to be your new traffic problems. But since you have your transportation hub, you know exactly where the people are going and where the problem is, so you can just increase the bandwidth by, for example, adding another train station that is going to the same place. But to be honest with you guys, what I really like about these transportation hubs is the way they look. They kinda reminds me of the way a CPU looks inside of a computer, which is really neat because not only do I make YouTube videos, but I also work with a lot of computers on my spare time. So guys, that was basically all the positive parts. Now we're going to go straight over to the negative ones. And the first thing I want to talk about is the time it takes to build one of these transportation hubs. Since most of us don't have that many hours to sit down and play, it might not be a viable option to build one of these transportation hubs. But if you have the time, then that's really great, because they really are quite fun to build. And that takes us over to the next part of the negative parts. And that's that they are really hard to get right sometimes. Now I'm not talking about the transportation hubs for people, because people can just walk straight into each other without having any issues. I'm talking about the transportation hubs for the industry, because switching goods, for example, from one train station to another train station requires a truck to be spawned, and they do take up quite some space. And because of that, there might be some really big traffic problems if your transportation hub for industry is too big, or maybe too compressed and small so that the trucks can't move freely. So if you do it wrong, then sometimes it can create more problems than they fix, but I actually think it's a really good thing for your city. But what you really could do is just start on a small scale, and then after some time, when you see that it's working very well, then you add some more and more and more and more, and then after some time you have covered your entire city and your transportation hub is complete. So now we're going to summarize everything in small points and put them on the screen for you. So first up are the positive parts. Basically, you get to control your traffic, you get to control your flow, you get to find your bottlenecks, and it's pretty cool looking, kinda looks like the CPU on a computer. The negative parts is that it takes a lot of time to build, it's hard to get right, and sometimes if you do it wrong it can create more problems than they fix. Sometimes they are hard to maintain since they are rather expensive. So guys, that's pretty much all for this video. I hope you liked it. And as you may or may not notice, I'm working really hard on my voice to sound a bit more entertaining. But it's really hard for me, but I'm doing my best to improve, and hopefully it will be a bit better in the future. Anywho, stay tuned so that you won't miss my next video, where I will showcase my awesome project that really push the limits of these transportation hubs. I promise you, they do work better than what you saw in this video. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.